Hello and welcome to Clay to Canopy, the show where I attempt to make just about everything from the ground up. This video is just going to be a basic recap of what has happened over the past week. This was the week that I was taking a break from studio work, but a lot has happened in a week and the studio is an insane mess. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Oh, it's crazy what can happen overnight. So I'm going to just catch you up as to what's been going on, and then I'm actually going to do a little tiny bit of harvesting from the garden for a future project for this thing. As you can see, the tents are lowered. We had a massive storm. I had the base of this covered in tarp, and I thought everything was going to be all good because I was expecting some rain, and then a bunch of hurricane winds came and blew all of my tarp all over. Started picking up the weight of the canopies. Lowered them down so that they would be between the two houses and not pick up so much wind weight, and that seemed to help it out. But then the rain came. Unfortunately, the front end and the back end are somewhat exposed. I mean, it just barely makes it to the back end. So I was getting some water hitting the back end. If I pull it up anymore, where the dragon is going to hit would end up being where the two canopies meet. So it's in the position so that the top of the dragon can hit the top center of this canopy when it's built. But that left part of this back exposed, and I did get some water damage. I'm kind of worried about popping these back up and uncovering it because I'm not sure yet what the weather's going to be doing. The front end of it also took some damage, so last night I was out here trying to, get as much as I can, and I literally had to yank drop cloth from underneath the piece that I had been working on. So freaking, it came off now, it was stuck onto it yesterday. Popsicle stick from the mixing. The other thing I had to do is run out here and clean out the panels and get them into the garage so that they wouldn't get water damage. I knew and I planned for this, and I don't know what happened. I had a tarp. I thought I had a tarp that was going to cover this, and I couldn't find it last night. You know what, I'm going to head over this way. Panels are down here and all over the place. I don't even know if I can get in here. Because of the heat wave, I chose to stay inside, catch up with as much editing as I could, which was great. But the problem was that I was in a seated position for most of the week. My body does not like being sitting still, and I was still continuing my workout. And unfortunately, I pulled my hamstring, calf, and my glute. So I have been in the most immense amount of pain for the past 3 days. So last night, I was out there in pain trying to freaking cover the thing as the rain came, and I was just all out of sorts. It's Southern California. We don't really often get rain, and I thought I would at least have by now the weatherproofing and the panels of this up before the rainy season came. Unfortunately, the heat wave brought a bunch of humidity, which then, the rain happened. So, needless to say, I think it's going to be okay. The panels back here that were out there did get hit. They got a little bit muddy. I'm hoping that I can sand out the majority of it. I think I caught it in time. Prior to all of that, I came out here and I was struggling with these panels with trying to get the glass sheeting over it, and I needed some time off camera to work through what was going to happen. Fortunately, the other day, before all of the storming and the raining happened, I was able to come out here and just have some headspace and coat this cluster that I was struggling with the last vlog. I did them panel by panel, and I realized that it doesn't really matter even if they're patchy, and if the sheets of fiberglass are not 100% perfect, it's going to get coated over with another sheet. The only thing that really matters is going to be the holy fabric that goes on top. Sometimes having the camera on and having to worry about adjusting where things go and worrying about, am I talking through my process, am I saying the right information? Sometimes it's a little overwhelming for me as a lone artist. So I needed to just tackle this without the cameras. I knew that there's so many more that I'm going to be doing this to, that eventually what I did here will be captured on film, but I needed to work it out. Fortunately, I was able to do that. The other thing I realized, I was so focused on trying to make sure I coated the fiberglass panel that I forgot that the fiberglass is only a vehicle to hold the resin, and the resin is the real important part of this entire process. So I'm going to put enough of the resin on there to get the fiberglass stuck, and then I will go over, once it cures, the entire thing with another round of just resin with the roller, thicken it up, get a good coating on there before the sand. I did order 2 more sets of resin at the slow set. That's another $300 of resin. And I was thinking of this the other day because I had a thought about When I used to have interns, when I ran my business, there was something I used to say to them all the time about pricing things out. We'd talk about how to price things out. And I used to have this shtick about make sure you always charge for glue. And they used to make fun of me for it. It wasn't about the glue. It was about all the little things. Make sure that, you know, you charge for the glue, you charge for the screws, because all those tiny little things that you use and you don't think about add up. But I was having a little chuckle because I realized that now, to date, I will be in about $600 worth of resin, which essentially is the glue for this entire piece. That goes to show you, 600 bucks for just glue for this project, that's probably not going to be enough. I'm probably going to need more than that. So yeah, if you're pricing things, make sure you charge for glue. I did not get around to printing or I should say cutting the head parts. I need to go harvest the broom corn, the last of the broom corn, because of the storm, and it's been overdue. You know what, before I do that, I'm going to show you back here because you wouldn't believe the freaking mess that's going on back here. The other thing I need to do before I can even get started, I've got to tidy. I got to get those canopies back up, pull down the tarp, probably go buy some more tarp for the future. I think that this was a good plan if it does rain again to bring them down and to have tarp cover the front and the back. There's like a massive mess back here that also needs to get dealt with. So I think that the first part of this is going to be just tidying things up and getting it ready to get back into a build. A disaster of the rainstorm. You can see some of those panels have some damage, so they're gonna have to get sanded out. I mean, thankfully they were the ones that I hadn't sanded yet, and the wind blew a whole bunch of crap on top of them, and then the rain pounded whatever that crap was into them. So yeah, that's where it is, and this is the mess. Before I go harvest, I'm going to need somewhere to put all of that stuff, so I'm going to reset. I think the storms and the winds are pretty much done. I need to get the panels out of the studio and back into this thing. I've been storing them under it. It's not too bad, thankfully. There is some water staining, but I think with some sanding that's going to come up. Since the only bits that are being left natural are this part of the top, the parts that are down there that got the water damage is okay because it's going to be covered in resin with the wood disc. Okay, I am in rough shape physically. That was only about 15 minutes of me moving stuff around and resetting things, getting the plastic under this, and I am feeling it. I'm in a bit of pain. I don't think I can go into cutting the corn right now. I need to do something that's like physically in one spot. I am gonna go ahead and add a layer of the resin to this cluster on this side. That way I can stand in one spot. Since I'm not dealing with the glass right now, it's just the resin, I'm not gonna do a full suit up. In the 80-degree temp, I've realized that the regular fast set resin works just fine. I gotta go grab the hardener, the resin. I've been storing it inside. Did it again. Should have at least put on the apron. Dang it. I think I'm going to throw it on really quick. Hope my roller doesn't seize. You can tell I'm not feeling 100% because this is why things like this happen. I'm not focused. Happy you're here, Bubba. Feel okay with him being out here because right now I am only dealing with the resin here at the table and I don't have fiberglass floating around or sanding around. I do like to keep them in when I'm working like that. It's been rough on them though. He's been pretty needy and they don't like being cooped up inside when their mama's outside working. So I think this was a very good call. I'm happy with the layers I'm building. Looking good. That's it. This is going to turn into vlogs, 10 weeks of you just watching me apply resin to panels. That's it. Nothing's going to happen. Just applying resin. Crap you fall asleep to videos. Y'all probably still fall asleep to my video, maybe. I don't know. Try to be entertaining. I really hope this does not turn into 10 weeks of me just applying resin. I tell ya. because I will be ready to scream if that's the case. Yeah, I'm just gonna choose to ignore the gardening sounds today. It's too humid for me to care. Pretending there's no blower or weed whacker or whatever the heck that is that I'm hearing. Let's just ignore it. Just giving it one final once over. And then this is it. I'm gonna go and chop down that corn. Whew! Alright, let's go get some corn. The corn stalks for the brooms are gonna just become fall decor, but I really need the broom. I would like to hand make a broom for this dragon, for the interior of the dragon as part of the decor. I have the first round of broom that I harvested. I cut back the stalks and then tied them up and used them at the end of the canopies just as decor. I thought I'd let them dry out for the fall. I never dug up the base. I just kind of leveled them and they sprouted out some more stalks, which was really cool. So I got like a whole nother flush of broom corn. We ended in week 6 of the build and I took a week off. I'm not going to count the week off of a build week because no building happened. The next vlog will be the start of week 7 on the actual build. This is just a recap of my week. Alright y'all, I got my stack of broom that needs to dry. I will deal with bundling that tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a fresh new vlog. Today is Saturday, September 10th, and I am gonna call it here. Hope you enjoyed this recap of what happened while I was taking a break. Please like, share, and subscribe if you have not done so already. Stick around to watch this giant project all come together, and remember, don't wake the dragon.